I'm booking Ireland today for April for Mark and I. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Give Ireland back to the Irish.
Scary. Okay, GunForHireRadio Season 8, Episode 386. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Five seconds. And stand by. Live from the land that freedom forgot, the most listened to Second Amendment broadcast in the nation. Welcome to it.
In the nation. So, today's cigar, same as last week, a little baby brick house.
Yeah, I like those little.
You like those little shorties. Today's knife is a SOG Fat Cat. Backstory on this SOG Fat Cat. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Found some old clothes and stuff in some bins in my attic, and I put a leather jacket on it. This was in the pocket. I haven't seen it in about 10 years.
Wow.
Bought it with Jay Peterbow about 15 years ago.
Wow.
We bought one each. SOG Fat Cat. It's beautiful. It's so light.
Very light.
When I stick it in your back later, you see it doesn't pull or anything.
Yeah.
No.
I could lay down with it.
No. Wow. You know, if you haven't been watching Ant's Rants, I ranted a few days ago that, you know, we're the tip of the spear, obviously, in the fight in New Jersey. We're more than just a gun range. We put our money where our mouth is. We risk our freedoms and everything. But we also do good things. You know, we've had Behavior Plus on the show where they train service dogs for our heroes, our veterans with post-traumatic stress and seizures and everything else. But our charity, we have a red, white, and blue membership at the range, and that's for all first responders and our veterans. And we donate a percentage of that membership to Canines for Warriors. And so far this year, 2018, we've sent almost $8,000 to Canines for Warriors. Because I don't know if you know it, but we spend billions of dollars in foreign countries, billions of dollars, for countries that hate us. And I always say this, let them hate us for free. But our veterans have to wait years to get a service dog and pay $10,000 to $15,000 if qualified. Okay? Meanwhile, our veterans wait in line for medical treatment. Our seniors live at near poverty level. We have homeless people, and we're worried about sending billions to other people. So if you look up canineforwarriors.org, you know, it's a nice charity. And what they do is they have volunteers, and they get donations, and they rescue dogs, and they train dogs, and they pair dogs, just like Behavior Plus in New Jersey. But Canines for Warriors, obviously, is a national group. But my buddy at Behavior Plus, it's a local group for the New York metropolitan area. So, you know, dogs over people, animals over people, you know how I feel. Other than dogs and cats, every other animal I find tasty. So I can't help myself. Some housekeeping. The NRA, ILA, released their federal candidate endorsements for New Jersey. And Bob Hugan has a question mark next to his name, and Bob Menendez, Pumpkinhead, is an F. So I would say vote for Hugan or Huggin or however you pronounce his name.
Vote for the question mark versus the Pumpkinhead.
Yes, and Jay Weber got a B+ over Mikey Sherrill's F, obviously, and Daryl Klipnis over Bonnie Watson-Coleman, obviously. And a couple other ones would be John McCann over Josh Gottheimer, and Rich Pizzulo over Frank the Balloonhead Pallone, and Leonard Lance got a C- over Tom Milenkowski, so you want to go with Leonard Lance. And then Chris Smith in District 4 got a C- over Josh Well, who got an F. And of course, Tom MacArthur, A-rated over Andy Kim in District 3. And in District 1, which Mark Cheeseman has been pushing hard for, and Bob Viden from Bob's Little Sports Shop, is Paul Dilks, A- over Donald Norcross, who's an F. But the NRA made a big mistake. The Political Victory Foundation made a huge mistake, and they screwed up. And I'm hoping heads are going to roll, and they're going to issue a disclaimer. But Jeff Van Drew is not a Republican. He's a Democrat, and he's not a B+. He's an F. They screwed up the order. Seth Grossman is the Republican, and he gets the B+. So for you people that can see this on the screen, there should be a statement being issued by the NRA. They might even mail out postcards, but they're going to send it out electronically and through the NRA ILA app. But they made a major screw up there, and hopefully people are in tune and they realize who they have to vote for. Because Seth Grossman, he spoke at our rallies. He's a big 2A supporter. So we want to keep it in the family, and you better go out and vote because we're in big trouble in New Jersey. Let me tell you something. If we could get Weber and Hugin and Seth Grossman in, it will be a chilling effect in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, right. But they're given a big... I was in District 4 over the weekend, and this guy, Josh
Yes, Josh.
He is everywhere. And for the first time,
District
really
4,
challenging
Chris Smith,
who
yes,
has always been the king of ocean.
But he's a C- as well, Chris Smith, which is something you have to think about.
He's never been very positive.
Yeah, we don't have. I'll hold it up again while we're talking. We don't have many good choices, obviously, in the state of New Jersey. But if we could get rid of Pumpkinhead Menendez, that would send a signal. And if Jay Weber, who looks pretty good right now, could beat Mikey Sherrill, who's a Dianne Feinstein, copy, I think we could be in a good position. To help out and send a message to D.C. And the election is 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. So it's going to be an interesting situation.
Yeah, if we lose Congress, if we lose the House and the Senate,
we're done.
We're done.
We're done.
Yeah, everything, all this economic recovery, the best economic recovery in 50 years that we're seeing right now, is flushed down the toilet. And
correct.
That's all they really care about. The left, at this point, really just cares about that because the Democratic Party is all but dead.
So, a clarification here, because the news wants to let us hear their own narrative, but the Saudi journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, he was a U.S. resident. He's a Saudi citizen, and he's a dissident. And he was living in Washington, D.C., and he was writing for the Washington Post.
He's also a member of the Muslim Brotherhood.
He's also a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. He met bin Laden quite a few times while he was alive. He interviewed him and everything. This guy went to the Turkish, in Turkey, went to the Saudi consulate in Turkey, which is not the same thing as an embassy, by the way. Consulate can be there; it's subjected to search and seizure and everything. You can't go into an embassy. An embassy belongs to that's Saudi property on an embassy, right. But a consulate's not. So Khashoggi dumped his Saudi wife. He has family members that are still in Saudi Arabia, and he met a younger chick from Turkey. So he decides he wants to process his divorce papers. He needs to go to the Saudi consulate. And he went into the Saudi consulate, and it looks like he never returned. And it looks like one of these tragedies where they were talking to him and he fell apart. Okay? Supposedly they brought a hit squad. 2 Gulfstreams flew from Saudi to Turkey, and they went in there and they did what was that, Reservoir Dogs scene where they said, clowns to the left of me, jokers to my right, with Michael Madsen, and they cut him up while he was alive, by the way, with a bow saw.
Yeah.
And
it
one
was captured on his Apple Watch.
Yes, and one of the bad guys, one of the hit squad, the primary hit squad guy, died yesterday in a motor vehicle accident in Saudi Arabia.
No way.
But here's what I'm getting
Talk
at.
about bad luck.
All of a sudden, this has become Trump and the U.S.'s fault. Okay? Because Trump has ties to the Saudis. I thought it was Russia, but now he has ties to the Saudis too. As far as I'm concerned, this is a Saudi and Turkey problem.
Right. And
that's as far as I'm concerned.
We're believing the Turks for all this.
Yeah, they're not friends of ours anyway. I don't know what happened. I don't care because he was not a U.S. citizen. Right. Now, if he was a U.S. citizen,
different story.
release the fury and the wrath. I'm sorry. But this is a problem, an internal problem with Saudi Arabia and an external problem with the Turkish government. Let them handle it. All of a sudden, it's an issue for the midterms and this shit and that shit. I don't care about it. Do you know how many people they kill in their own countries? Over in those countries every day?
Within the hour.
Okay, you know you're good if you could have a hit team. 15 people, 2 Gulf Streams fly over to get medieval on a mofo. Okay? Seriously. I mean, seriously.
You're a high target value there.
Not my job. Yeah. It's not my interest. It's not my concern. Move along, people. That's what I say. Move along. Mm-hmm. So, but we'll see. And also now, all of a sudden, the midterms are coming up, and a caravan of 4,000 people are making their way from Honduras through Mexico to our southern border.
And they're so poor, but how do 4,000 people eat?
Yeah, well, they're being funded by some left-wing group, Soros. They're being funded by some left-wing group, and this is to make immigration the issue for the midterms again.
Of course.
All right, so, I talk about the media all the time. I watch a little bit of Fox, I watch a little bit of CNN, MSNBC. I like to watch it all. I read a lot of online news and a lot of Twitter news and stuff, but, it's all a game. I ranted about this, too. It doesn't matter what side of the media is. It just controls the minds of the ignorant.
That's right. And it's all about clicks, and it's all about Benjamin.
Correct. Our lives don't change one bit. We still work, pay taxes, and die.
Right. For them.
For them. They talked to him and he fell apart. Don't know how that happened. What commercial's next? Medallion?
Medallion.
That's a knife. That's a knife.
So you don't have to do Medallion.
No, I know. Okay.
All right, there we go. And you need to remind me of these things.
How's that? Good?
That looks good. I like it. It's very becoming.
Is that where we back?
Yes.
Don't forget Lipstick Bodyguard. We have them in stock. Excellent stocking stuffer. Good first day of Hanukkah gift for the kids.
Good first day of Hanukkah gift?
First day of Hanukkah for the kids.
For the kids, for the children.
Because it'll be empty by the last day of Hanukkah and you got to buy a new one. Marketing, Lipstick Bodyguard, available at Gun for Hire.
I think we are not good. All right. That was good though. But that was worth it. That was worth a second try.
Are we on? So, don't forget about Lipstick Bodyguard. We have them in stock at Gun for Hire Woodland Park Range. They're also available online, lipstickbodyguard.com. Makes a great stocking stuffer for Christmas. Also, nice gift for the first day of Hanukkah.
For the little ones.
Yes, for the little ones, because my theory is they'll spray it at each other and you'll have to buy new ones for the last day of Hanukkah.
It'll keep them quiet for a little while.
Lipstick Bodyguard. Don't leave home without it. By the way, some news. I received a letter from the NRA.
Yes.
I made the ballot.
Oh, good.
I had enough signatures. I want to thank everybody that sent me stuff in from all over the United States. Thank you. We had well over 1,000 signatures. I needed 651. I got a certification letter from the Secretary of the NRA. So I will be running on petition. So when the NRA magazine, whether you get Rifleman, First Freedom, Hunter, or whatever, when you get your magazines in January, February, I will be on the ballot. I will be telling you who Gun for Hire and Gun for Hire Radio is endorsing. But I'm humbled. I can't thank you all enough. This will be my last push. If I don't win, I'm hoping I win. But if I don't win, if I don't get nominated for the 2020 by NRA headquarters, then I'm not running again. So this is the last hurrah. So if anybody out there goes to gun shows and would like flyers to hand out at the gun show starting in December, Colandro for NRA, or at your gun clubs or anything, please email me, talkback@gunforhireradio.com or anthony@gunforhire.com, and I will gladly, if you don't want to print them out, I'll have a PDF available. You can print them out, but if you don't, I'll print them out here and I'll mail you a package, 50 flyers, 500 flyers, whatever you tell me you want. Any gun clubs, any supporters across the United States, I would deeply appreciate it. From now until February is going to be the big push to get my name out there. So again, I want to thank all of you for your support. Couple of things. I've been reading The Trace now. which is an anti-gun website and newsletter, and they had an article that I have to agree with. Listen to this, Sandy. A school police officer in Texas drew his gun on 2 students playing the role of active shooters during a lockdown drill last week. After the scheduled exercise commenced over the intercom, 2 high school theater students patrolled the halls with the fake wooden guns. The officer, unaware of the drill, saw the actors and briefly drew his own loaded real gun. How does this happen? How was there an officer that didn't know there was an active shooter drill going on? How was an officer in there with live ammo during an active shooter drill?
Right.
I'm going to agree with this, with the trace. This is a what the F moment.
Right.
This would be perfect for the anti-gunners to go after us, that we shouldn't have armed officers or resource officers. What were you thinking? I'm amazed. You know, we do force-on-force simulations. We have a room where you go in.
Right.
We check you with a metal detector.
Yep.
We take your knives away, your tactical pens.
Everything.
We take everything away.
And post someone at the door.
At the door to make sure no one goes in or goes out with any weapons or live ammunitions or real guns at all. All of our guns have the blue barrels to shoot simunitions or UTM ammunition in them. This was in Baytown, Texas, by the way.
I remember back in the day too, Ann, in the first small facility in Belleville, where someone stood outside just in case the neighbors heard the ruckus going on and called the police department.
Correct.
So someone could.
That was usually my job. I'd stay outside, would smoke a cigar, because if somebody heard, "Don't move, I got a gun," echoing through the windows. If the real cops rolled up, I don't need them to slam down the door and shoot our actors and you know the perps and the good guys and everything. I don't understand how this happened.
Right.
He was a DARE officer. It was Bayton, Texas. I don't know. Is there no communication? Maybe he was a DARE officer from a different town and he was coming in to do like regional DARE training or something. But again, nobody posted at the door. No signs at the doors. Active shooter training in process. Nobody posted at each of the doors because unbelievable that a tragedy was averted. But you can't fix stupid. I'm sorry, you can't fix stupid. Now. Couple other things. Okay, some good wins for us. A Superior Court judge in Delaware ruled the ban on guns in state parks is unconstitutional.
Wow,
okay?
Great. In Delaware.
Yes, Judge Jeffrey Clark ruled that regulations that prohibit guns in certain areas of state parks violate federal and state constitutions. The lawsuit was brought by a shooting sports group, a local group, challenging state regulations that bar guns from areas such as zoos, group camping grounds, and swimming pools. Ha ha! Another win for the good guys. It'll be appealed, but it'll work its way up to the Supremes, I'm sure. Now, mag ban update. Gun for Hire. If you Google Gun for Hire, mag ban update, we have a page with updates on it. Evan Knappen and Scott Bach give us updates all the time. A Third Circuit judge passed on our appeal, and it's going to go. It's going to go to Supreme Court for sure. Scott Bach, Dan Schmutter are very happy about this. We know it's going to be challenged. There's other cases that are making their way through the courts, but you know. The Supreme Court right now being 5-4. Ginsburg says she's staying on until she's 141, which is 3 more years. Yep. She's staying on because she's going to stay on until somebody after Trump appoints a new Supreme Court justice to replace her. We'll see how that goes, but
she's drooling into her coffee cup.
Correct.
Now.
But AmmoLand sent a thing out in their, and by the way, I want to thank AmmoLand and Freddie and Brian for all their support. They're constantly sending out our radio show in their email blasts, and they support me for my NRA board run. But they sent out an article. Let me see who wrote this article. It was very, very interesting. Oh, my man, Jeff Knox from the Firearms Coalition. His dad, Neil Knox, helped me out a lot with Shotgun News back in the day. You Google Neil Knox and Shotgun News and the Knox Report and read some of his salty stuff from back in the day. But what he's saying is, we have to worry about a blue wave. And a lot of people now are going to rest on their laurels and basically say, oh, well, the Supreme Court's 5-4. We don't have to do anything anymore. No. We're not even guaranteed the Supreme Court's going to take a gun case. The last time they took a gun case, I think, was 2008. McDonald, heller than McDonald. 2008. It's been 10 years since they've taken a case for our cause. What if it's another 10 years before they take a case from us?
And what's a guarantee that this guy that was appointed to the Supreme Court, Kavanaugh, is actually on your side? You know,
he's kind of moderate.
He's pretty moderate. He's pretty liberal, too.
You know, Gorsuch is more to the right of Kavanaugh.
Right, exactly. And what gets you is the fact that the left is so unhinged, both against Trump and against this Kavanaugh guy, and both of these guys are liberals.
Correct. You can check out the firearmscoalition.org and Neil Knox's book, The Gun Rights War, NEAL, Neil Knox. Really cool dude. He passed away, and Jeff Knox has been carrying the baton for him since then. So it's extremely interesting that he wrote this up, and I believe it too. It could be another 10 or 15 years before they take a gun case. So I'm not relying on the Supreme Court. I'm relying on still unity and activism for me as much as we possibly can.
We need to get out and vote, and we need to get out and vote en masse. And again,
it's not going to happen. Our gubernatorial, 37% showed up of registered voters. This is a midterm election, okay? Every stay-home vote is a vote for the Democrats, I believe. But the problem is we're preaching to the proverbial choir here, Sandy. How do we mobilize people? And again, you know, I coined a new phrase, you know, social media patriot, SMP. I ranted about that too. You know, people that sit home and we're going to fight and we're going to do this, but they never get off their ass, they never donate, they never get involved. So the SMPs aren't going to go out to vote, and then the next day they're going to be asking, what happened? How come we lost again?
How did this happen?
Okay, so unfortunately we're outnumbered by the SMPs. And these people don't do shit. It's just armchair activism. And they're the first ones. Where was the NRA? Where was ANJRPC? Where was this? Where was that? You know? And
it's everybody else's responsibility to ensure their freedom.
Correct. And our freedom, like you say, it's the bologna slice, one slice at a time. I talk about this all the time, every time I'm in front of the mic, but you know, we have a couple of concealed carry cases. New Jersey has one that's funded by the NRA and ANJRPC. And, of course, we have the Cheeseman-Gillard case. And please, GoFundMe.com/restore-carry-NJ. When you donate, whether it's $5, $10, or $20, I want you to put in the notes, I am not an SMP. I am not an SMP. I want to see how many people are going to donate. And let me tell you something. Every bit can help, because J Factor's been doing this all for free. Mark Cheeseman and John Gillard, they've been doing this all for free. And, you know, they're representing themselves, and I think about $18,000 or $19,000 was raised, which is nothing, because a 2A law firm can burn through that in a weekend.
Right.
All right, and so they're really counting on it, and their lawsuit is not for the two of them to get carry permits.
The difference, Owen? I mean, $18,000-$19,000 for what you say you care about, and
should be $2 million.
Absolutely. When you have that, what's her name, Ford, the fake.
She raised over $2 million, Dr. Ford, the one who was groped by somebody, someplace, somehow, somewhere,
maybe,
somewhen.
You know,
we
that
think.
She remembers. We think. Yeah. And she raised $2 million.
Christine Ford.
Yeah.
Yes.
She now has to
pay taxes on.
Yeah,
she disappeared.
Yeah, she disappeared.
You know,
she's not useful anymore.
So go to the GoFundMe.com restore-carry-NJ and donate something, and write in the notes, I am not an SMP, social media patriot, and we expect you to get your friends and family out to vote. Talk to your friends and family and say, we need to send a message to DC. We also need to send a message to Murphy. This will hurt Murphy if we could get Hugan and Menendez out, Hugan in, Weber in, Mickey Sherrill out. You know, these few people, and if we got Grossman, all of these people, and in your town, the way you should vote. It's very important that we send this message. Get your friends and family to vote. Talk about the tax issue, the rise of socialism in this country, the rise of mass immigration tapping us. No one should be coming to this country and going right into our welfare system. I'm sorry.
No, we should not be paying for the world.
No.
Not
when we have veterans waiting 3 to 5 years for a service dog and dying while they're waiting for an appointment.
Yes, or healthcare. Yeah,
okay.
They're waiting for help.
This year, Social Security, 2019, Social Security is going up 2.5%. 2.5%.
Right.
They haven't had a raise in 3 years. Now it's going up 2.5%, which means Medicaid will go up about 2.6%,
Right.
which you'll just take it. It'll be a wash. Cheeseman Gillard case, restore-carry-NJ. GoFundMe. I am not an SMP. I hate Sandy. I hate Sandy.
This is what I put up with.
And this segment is brought to you by Gunsitters. Gunsitters.com in Route 10 in Whippany. If you could go to Gunsitters, you can store your guns short-term, long-term, overnight. They also have a magazine storage program right now where it's $1.25 a month to store magazines over 10 rounds, and 20% gets donated to a NJRPC. They also have a location in Easton, Pennsylvania, where you can leave your toys, and Salisbury, Maryland, and another one is opening up in Maryland and Hawaii. Support those who support us, Gunsitters. They also have a military division called Weapons Guard. So any of our heroes out there that need to temporarily or long-term store their firearms while they're being deployed, they will do it for free. So they're great people, and we should support those who support us. What are you trying to say? That I'm a little crazy?
No.
Really?
I would never say.
Oh, and today's guest is nobody, by the way.
I think they figured that out.
So Elizabeth Warren did a DNA test, and she's 0.012% Native American.
Yep.
And right away, the Cherokee Nation came out and said, she speaketh with forked tongue. And Trump is tweeting
wonder how
smoke
her-
signals to her.
How her book Pow Wow Chow is doing.
She stole those recipes from his French chef, word for word.
Did
You
she
know
really?
that? Yeah, the recipe she did. She got paid. Harvard advertised that she was the first woman of color to teach as an adjunct professor on Harvard. She got between $250,000 and $300,000 a year from 1985 to 1992, and she wrote recipes for a Pow Wow Chow cookbook, and all of the recipes were stolen word for word from a French chef, by the way.
Gee, that's.
And she'll be reelected, by the way.
Of course she will.
And she'll run for president, by the way.
Well, you got a vice president who basically plagiarized his entire speech and he got reelected. Not this vice president, but Biden.
Yeah, so
Joe Biden was
so we're in bad shape here. Nappin, who's been posting some witty stuff lately, by the way. I love Evan.
We are in a kakistocracy.
How do you call that?
Kakistocracy.
What's a kakistocracy?
It comes from the Greek, but it's when the worst elements of society rise to the top and lead. We're being led by the absolute worst elements of society. Kakistocracy, the root from caca.
Ah, poopistocracy?
Yes.
So we're in a shit-ristocracy.
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 Yeah, I was just trying to keep it
No, I don't have to
clean
keep
for
it.
YouTube.
Well, you cuss on every break.
Yeah,
I don't care. We have a countdown clock on how long before YouTube bans us. Okay, so it really don't matter to me. You know, before I get into this legal case, I did a rant about pedophiles. Not a day goes by where I don't see a.
Crashing on Italians now?
Not a day goes by where I don't see a school teacher being arrested for molesting a kid, boy or girl, or someone raping. These two guys raped an 8-month-old baby and they videotaped it, by the way.
How is...
Yeah, I know.
Why
But-
aren't they dead?
But what's happening today, too, especially from the left, they're like normalizing pedophilia.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's okay, it's just a disorder, whatever. Listen, I don't believe in the electric chair. I believe in the electric bleachers. 30 at a time, no waiting. But I know we're not going to kill them because we live in a civil society. So you rape an 8-month-old and you get to be treated civilly. I understand that. Actually, I don't, but I'm trying to play nice. So I have an idea. When someone does something to children and they're found guilty, I think we should dye them purple from head to toe when we release them back to society,
Why
so
purple?
we could teach our kids to
Are
keep
you
away from the
anti-Barney?
purple
Are you-
people. Yeah, but I like purple. I think purple would be good. You can't hide if you're purple. But we should dye them head to toe purple. And that's what we should do to these pedophiles, because there is no no room in our society for this. Although, the left would have us saying that it's okay and we should be normalizing this stuff.
Well, they already do.
Well, every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So,
everything that used to be aberrant behavior is now mainstream behavior.
It's horrible.
This all comes back to the fact that this is postmodernism. Postmodernism.
The Roman Empire. We're in a decline now, where it's accepted for the men to have sex with the boys, and the women to have sex with the little kids and the boys. Yeah, it's okay now. It's not okay with me. All right, it's not okay with me. And, hopefully when they get to prison, they'll find some other justice there. They'll see what it's like to be, where they have to play the role of the 9-year-old boy being raped or something. So, sometimes there's some justice here, street justice. So Nappin posted this. My buddy Tom King, who's also running for re-election to the NRA board from the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. This gives me some hope, guys. Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry announced that the state will be joining 16 other states in submitting an amicus brief in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus City of New York case, meaning that Louisiana is going to play a role in what's expected to be the most significant two-way case since the Heller decision, okay? They are attacking and suing the restrictive policies memorialized in New York City's premise permit scheme unduly burdens the Second Amendment rights held by all Americans, said General Landry. Criminalizing travel with a securely stored firearm creates an imbalance in our federal system that weighs against lawful exercise of the Second Amendment inside and outside of New York City. Okay? The terms of New York City's pricey permit prohibit removing any firearm from the home with two exceptions: practicing at the range in the city or hunting in the state. And hunting requires authorization from the city's police department.
Oh my God.
For you 49 other staters like New Jersey, think about that. To remove a firearm from the home for any other purpose requires a separate yet similarly expensive carry permit that is almost impossible to obtain. In the legal brief, General Landry and his counterparts argue that New York City did not show sufficient cause to burden citizens' gun rights in their pursuit of crime prevention and public safety, both of which are frustrated by restricting licensed and trained gun owners from carrying outside their homes. People send me emails all the time. I live in New York City. Can I come to your range and shoot? Yeah. Can I bring my guns? Nope. If you live in the 5 boroughs, they can't leave with their guns.
Right.
So,
because they voted for this.
Correct. This restriction has the practical implication of leaving thousands of firearms in unoccupied homes where they are of no use to their lawful owners when faced with dangerous situations. The need
but
for
plenty of use to the people breaking in to steal them.
Correct. The need for self-defense is not limited to the home, and the right to possess a firearm should not be either, said General Landry. I like the General. From self-defense to hunting, the lawful exercise of our 2A rights should be fully supported. New York City's regulation not only offends the Second Amendment and other constitutional protections, but it also poses a serious economic burden. New York's regulatory scheme discriminates against interstate commerce because it deprives out-of-state businesses of access to the local market by forbidding its citizens from hunting and patronizing ranges outside the state with their own guns. The 16 states that joined so far: Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Kansas, Michigan, Montana, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, and Wisconsin through their attorney generals, and Mississippi and Kentucky through their governors. The case is called the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association et al. Versus the City of New York et al. All right, this is really cool. Essentially, what's going on here is there's a city ordinance in New York which more or less puts all the legal firearms in the city under house arrest. If you're an average gun owner in New York City, the only way they'll let you bring your gun anywhere is if you put it in a locked container, unload it with the ammunition stored separately, and take it to a gun range within the city, or again to go hunting in the state, but you need permission.
Of
Okay.
which there's one.
Yes.
Yeah.
the general says it's got to be the most obnoxious and patently unconstitutional gun ordinance in the country, and it's an excellent bet that the Supreme Court grants certiorari, and here's the case, the New York ordinance is going to be tossed out. But the ultra-left-wing Second Circuit upheld the ordinance, that's why it's going to go to Supremes, applying a softball constitutional test to it, which essentially amounted to the court declaring itself a legislator rather than a serious judicial operation. Okay, naturally, this is the brief. So the states joining it aren't asserting they've got standing to try the case, but the argument is an interesting one. New York City is the most populous burg in America, and essentially the ordinance denies those citizens a sizable chunk of the business from New Yorkers with respect to hunting, competitive shooting, and other such pursuits. Whether the Supreme Court addresses the issue of interstate commerce, should it take the case, will be interesting. Anyway, in any event, this is the case worth following, and it should be a big one. So everybody should be following this. New York State Rifle and Pistol Club versus the City of New York. And there's a big imbalance now in the courts, right? Because you can't go to other states with your lawfully owned firearms and everything. So I think it could turn out to be a pretty good one. Couple of things. Bring back the shitbaggerator. Continue belching. Okay? Kill time and memories.
Wait, who said continue?
Wait,
belching?
kill time and memories and walking into the range for the first time. Love the show, Jack. Bring back the shitbaggerator, please. Joey Grimaldi. I love Joey. Got an email from David in Texas right after this New York thing we talked about. Hi, Anthony and Sandy. I've been listening to your great show for a few years now. I wanted to ask you to clarify something for me. As a Texas resident, I encounter non-gun owners all the time, but I don't see anything like the chilling environment you've described in New Jersey towards firearms ownership. I know you've said lots of times that many people in New Jersey will keep quiet, that they are gun owners, and I get it that it's a social no-no to be a gun person. But what does that mean in real life if it slips out? What kinds of things will happen if your family, friends, or acquaintance learn that you support the Second Amendment? Is it just long stares at the grocery store, or will people try to avoid you or start fights with you? Will they key your car, poison your dog? Is it as bad as, say, being labeled as a pedophile or something similar? I'm just trying to get a feel for what it means in New Jersey. Keep up the great work. David in Texas. He's referring to, we use closet gun owners all the time. So in New Jersey, we have 1 million gun owners and 8 million non-gun owners. And we're going to discuss it after the break, David in Texas.
And for everybody's enjoyment, actually it is pretty good. I listened to it again. The shitbaggerator commercial.
Yes! I'm so hungry.
Are you?
Oh,
Why?
I missed my 10 o'clock feeding.
Did you?
Do not forget to check out the Shooter's Gauntlet, shootersgauntlet.com. Millstone Road, Monroetown, PA, next to Towanda, PA. Check out Bob Ramo and his wife Patty. You can go zip lining and shoot a gun. They have 1,500-yard long-distance range. This guy's got thousands and thousands of acres. He hosts 2 machine gun shoots. My buddy Joshua Prince from Prince Law Group in PA, who was inarguably the Evan Nappen of Pennsylvania, like Peter Tillum is the Evan Nappen of New York State, New York City. Those 3 guys are really close friends and supporters of mine, and they're always there when I need help. I get people email me. I'm from Westchester County, New York. I'm from Stroudsburg, PA. I'm from Eatontown, New Jersey. I email the respective attorneys. Boom! I get an email back. Ask Joe Peluso. I hooked him up with Peter Tillum, and somebody called him up, spent time with him, no charge, So keep it in the family. But check out shootersgauntlet.com. Give them a like on Facebook. Give them a comment on Google or something. Support those who support us. So back to David in Texas. Sandy, you can talk about this too, but closet gun owners, 1 million gun owners in New Jersey, about 700,000 are low-profile gun owners, about 300,000, maybe 30,000 are actually active shooters.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, David, that if you own a business in New Jersey, if you're a dentist and you come out that you're a gun owner and a 2A supporter, you have a good chance of losing 60, 70, 80% of your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your kids won't be allowed to go over somebody's house for a play date, and their kids won't be able to come over to your house for a play date. If your kid goes to school in a state like New Jersey and New York and says, my daddy owns guns, there's a good chance they'll call the police.
Yeah.
All right,
And there's a
it
very
happened.
good chance
It
that
happened
you're
to my
gonna get
buddy
busy
Sean down in South Jersey. Dyfus.
Dyfus is going to come.
So-
The police are going to come.
We live in a police state. You see what the laws are like in New York in the earlier segment that I talked about. But what'll happen is we're so anti-gun here that people would just rather remain under the radar. It's like seeing a rainbow every time you see an NRA sticker on somebody's car. We have
unicorn.
we have 7 gun for hire vehicles. They're wrapped front to back.
Yeah.
All my staff wear gun for hire all the time. I don't care because I'm in this industry, but I might not be talking this way if I was a dentist or a chiropractor. That's why when we talk about Dr. Medallion, who's outside the box, he's taking great risks by coming out.
Absolutely.
And you have to support somebody like that because it's crazy not to.
He is going to lose business.
Yes, correct. But, you know, I'll talk about it on the air sometimes. People will wear an NRA shirt or a hat to the grocery store, and yes, they'll get stares from people.
Or worse than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had it happen.
At Trader Joe's, at Whole Foods, King's,
Sure. Yeah,
Food Market.
absolutely.
I go to those liberal places for sport,
Me
to
too.
be honest with
I
you.
do wear I keep an NRA hat in the car just
Yeah.
for that particular.
But I'm a shit star, and not everybody's a shit star, and some people have to worry about a living. Think about this, Dave. If you're a school teacher in New Jersey, the school board is anti-gun. All the local politicians are anti-gun. The school superintendent's anti-gun. The principal, vice principal's anti-gun. Everybody in the administration's anti-gun. We had a woman from Queens who came here for her birthday and posted a picture. She got suspended for 2 weeks under an investigation because they had to determine whether it was safe for her to teach the children or not. Yeah. She came in and she rented a gun for her birthday with friends for an hour.
Right.
And she got suspended for 2 weeks.
So that's what we're dealing with.
I volunteered to help her, but luckily it passed. It was swept under the rug eventually. But this is what we deal with. Yes, we are treated like pedophiles. We're treated like second-class citizens. It starts, too, when you go to a police department, they treat you like a criminal. You have to fill out paperwork. You're made to wait. You have to go back. You have to go back. You have to go back. It's fingerprints, references, and everything. They send a letter to you. They're supposed to send a letter to your boss verifying employment in New Jersey. They'll send a letter to your boss and say, David is applying for a gun permit.
Is that okay?
And is that okay? We're checking reference. Yeah. In Newark, if you rent the city of Newark, I talked about this when Peter was on the show 2 weeks ago. You have to give an affidavit signed and notarized by your landlord that it's okay for you to own guns on their property. It's one infringement after another. So this is what we deal with. So maybe you can understand it, David. It's not like Texas. Although I would, if you want to know what it feels like, I don't know where you live. Why don't you go visit Austin?
Yeah.
Go visit Austin with an NRA hat or shirt or Black Rifle Coffee or Grunt Gear or a Gun for Hire shirt with a Trump hat on. I'll send you one if you want. Email me your address and I'll send you a Gun for Hire shirt.
Dallas is the same way.
Yeah, I was in Dallas.
Not as bad as Austin.
Austin would probably be the worst. Yeah. So you know what I mean.
You go to far north Dallas, it's going to be the same thing.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got relatives there.
So that's what I would have to say. So, you know, I kind of missed this. This is the last segment.
Yes.
I kind of missed this learning environment. I talked about Halloween and stuff, but like Michaela went back to school, and now she's back. She came home for a couple of days for a wedding, and she's back down at her university. So every year I do these safety tips, and I'd like to go over it again. It's, you know, some college dorm tips that you should share with your friends and family. You know, close friends and family should know your routine. Provide a copy of your schedule for classes and work. You want those close to you to have a general idea of where you are and what you're supposed to be doing in case, you know, you don't respond to a text for an hour. We kind of can call the school and go, you know, she's supposed to be at the library and she's leaving for here. Michaela's really good. She'll text us, I'm at the library. She'll text us, I'm leaving. She'll text us, she's back at the dorm. We have a group text going on. Monica, whenever she takes an Uber, she takes a screenshot and she sends it, and jokingly she'll say, this is the Uber I'm in case I get kidnapped. Because then I can find him, because I have skills. Okay? I will find him. Always lock your dorm room door. If you're stepping out even for a couple of minutes, make sure to lock. Never give your key or copy it to another person. If you lose your key, have the lock changed. Your key should not have your dorm room number on it.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay, it should just be your key, so if somebody finds it, they got to check every door. Make sure your windows are locked, especially if you're on a ground floor. Never open a door for strangers. All right, you know you've grown up and moved away from home, but this golden rule still applies. You should always verify who was on the other side of the door before opening it. The door from your door room, should have a deadbolt and a peephole. We talk about this all the time, especially you, Michaela. There's 4 girls in your dorm room. You should have a cover over the peephole, whether it's one of them round Band-Aids or a Post-it with a note. Put a little note that says, ask who it is before you open the door, and put it over the peephole and crease it so you can flip it up like a little shade, because there's reverse peephole viewers. You can buy them on Amazon.com. They're $19 down. The bad guy can look in your dorm room to see who's in there and what's going on. So cover the peephole. Keep your valuables hidden, like maintenance might come in or something. You don't want to have your expensive Apple Watch laid out, or grandma's bracelet that she gave you, as an heirloom or whatever. So you should always have an emergency drill from your door room, okay? They also sell cheap door alarms. You can put like a little wedge under the alarm. I know that's excessive. That's really not going to happen. You should know that, if there's an emergency, you and your girl should have an emergency drill. Like you shouldn't go to sleep at night in clothes that you're not willing to run out of the house into in the middle of the night. Do you understand? Like if you're just wearing underwear and a midriff shirt and a fire alarm goes off and you have to hightail it out of the dorm, if there's a fire, you're going to be standing outside with, underwear and a midriff shirt on. Right. So, if you sleep with a t-shirt and sweatpants, that's cool. You should have slippers or something close by. If it's wintertime, you should have a jacket or something by the door, or even a robe. It doesn't matter. But if you have to hightail the hell out of there, you should be able to, like a fireman, grab an outfit and exit out of the building, all right? So these are some of the things to think about. You should always use the elevator door all the time if there's an elevator in your dorm, because staircases are definitely a place for people to, rape, rob, and pillage. You don't want somebody's trying. While I'm doing a show, somebody I never heard of, some guy is trying to FaceTime me. FaceTime audio keeps coming through. Yeah, like get a life. Anyway. So always use that. If you're going to have to use the stairwell, you should be with a friend, okay? If you're in an elevator with a person who makes you feel, it makes you feel uncomfortable, get off on the next floor. We talk about this all the time. When an elevator opens, especially if it's a big one, look inside. Some elevators have a little mirror in a corner. Yeah. If somebody looks suspect, do not get in the elevator, okay? Right. You should always make sure you don't get in the elevator. Wait for the next elevator. Oh, sorry, wrong floor. Walk away a little bit and then come back. Same thing with if you get out of the elevator with someone that doesn't look right and you're walking towards your room, you better have your radar on. Okay? Nice time to be carrying a defensive pen. Nice time to have lipstick bodyguard in your support hand and deployed. Okay? Again, this is like 7 times. Yeah. When the radio show is done, I'm going to find who this is. I'm going to pummel their head like a fig.
Why'd you have him on?
No. So, another thing is, in your dorm, you should have a bug-out bag.
Like a fig.
Yes, I'm going to pummel their head. It's going to be mushy like a purple fig. Now I want figs. You should have a bug-out bag in your dorm room. If you have a car on campus, you should have a bug-out bag in your car. And we'll go over that in a later show. But in your bug-out bag in your room, you should have charger packs that use batteries. You should have batteries. You should have light sticks. You should have flashlights. Maybe a Red Cross backup light. Candles aren't a bad idea. Don't use candles unless it's a last-ditch emergency. They sell packets of water you can put in the bug-out bag. Your dorm room, does it have a fire extinguisher? Is the fire extinguisher out of code? I bet you the 4 girls in Michaela's dorm don't even know where the fire extinguisher is and if it's even charged or not. Yeah, but I'm sure security checks it, and I'm sure there's, maintenance checks them, and there's probably fire extinguishers in the hall. Charger packs are really cool.
You're saying that to make yourself feel better, I guess?
Yes. Okay. Always use common sense and trust your instincts. When you're walking around a college campus, day or night, you shouldn't be looking into the screen of your phone and texting. This is when the antenna should go up. You should be in condition yellow or condition orange, okay? If you're walking in an area where you feel a little scared, call somebody and stay on the phone with them. And as you're talking to them, with the phone at your ear, with your head up, making eye contact, say, yes, Sandy, I'm walking across the quad now. I'm heading towards building 7. I should be at my dorm room. So you're announcing your whereabouts, too. So if something was to happen, that person knows where you were. Right. At that moment. Looking down at your phone, you're just putting yourself up into a bad situation. But again, I believe in sixth sense, and if you feel like something's not right, if you open that dorm room front door and a light is out or something, what do we talk all the time? You know what I mean? Normalcy bias. Don't fall into it, ladies and gentlemen at the dorm. When you walk, that tactical pen, some universities don't allow you to carry mace or lipstick bodyguard. Yeah. So the tactical pen is a nice thing. The Hello Kitty on the keychain's not a bad thing. But remember, fight and fight you must. Never let anyone take you to a secondary location, ever, okay? If somebody comes up to you and puts a knife to you, a gun to you, whatever, it says, come with me, I'm not going to hurt you, all bets are off, ladies and gentlemen. You fight to the death and you run kicking and screaming into a safe location, towards a safe location. I don't care if you lose a handful of hair. I don't care if you get shot or stabbed as you're running. You will fare much better if you get to a safe area than if you comply. You never comply. Car rides at the dorm. When you go into your car, lock the door. Put the phone down. Start the car up. Move on your way. Pull out of the spot. Text, Mom, just leaving, heading to the library, and proceed. Ubers. I know you don't like to share your information, ladies and gentlemen, but you can share your ride with someone on Uber. If you don't want it to be your mom and dad, have it be your brother or your sister or a friend. You can see it on your phone where that person is going and when they get to their stop. Screenshot that person and send it to them. This is what we teach here. It's important you share this with your loved ones because you can't protect them 24/7. And kids, if you're listening out there, just because you're at a dorm and you're on a college university does not mean crime exists. Look up the sexual assault records and statistics for the university you're going to. Don't think it couldn't happen to you. So head on a swivel, make eye contact, know your surroundings. Don't fall prey to normalcy bias.
And it's also a good idea, too, to see what's going on behind the scenes at the universities.
Yes.
Because they don't report crimes to the police.
No, they keep it internal.
Yeah.
They keep it on the down low.
Right.
And they cook the books to make it look better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They don't report crimes like rape. They have their own rape
Correct.
now.
There's a new webpage you can go on, GunForHire/2A. GunForHire 2A. Check out why we are the tip of the spear in the 2A fight in New Jersey and in the tri-state area. Coming up, we have Low Light, No Light, Urban Shotgun 1 and 2, Holster Draw, Urban Pistol 1, 2, and 3, Urban Carbine 1, 2, and 3. We have classes running from October till January. We also, if you email Jimmy at Gun for Hire, become an NRA instructor, an NRA range safety officer. We could use you out there spreading the love and the knowledge. And the shitbaggerator is back. The tip of the spear in the 2A fight. The only gun range that can claim that. We put our money where our mouth is, and we sacrifice our dollars, and I've sacrificed my freedom and my rights for you people, so support those who support us.
Well, it looks like you've done it again. You've wasted yet another perfectly good hour listening to Gun for Hire Radio. Gun for Hire Radio is a Counterthink Media production. The music used in this broadcast was managed by Cosmo Music, New York, New York. On behalf of our show host, the angry but gracious Anthony Calandro, Master Trainer, we love you guys. See you next week. Winston, take it away. Good boy.
Love my Winston.